Now back here in Accra, and indeed in many parts of Africa, without up-to-date information, you've lost the race before it's even begun. Now that's the message that's being trumpeted loud and clear by the government of Rwanda that wants to transform that country into a high-tech powerhouse. But how realistic is that? Rory Kathleen Jones has been finding out.
In a village off the beaten track, they're waiting for a glimpse of their country's high-tech future. A brand new bus packed with modern computers has arrived in a community without electricity just 20 miles from Rwanda's capital, Kigali. Once the satellite connection has been established, a team gets to work preparing the bus and its contents for a stream of visitors. Their mission, to give local school children, businesses and farmers their first taste of the internet.
Most of the school-going children and most of the business people in these communities have never used a computer. So the people are now beginning to use bookkeeping software, for instance, for business people or for school-going children to learn how to use computers and how it can help them in their courses.
Today it's a class from a local secondary school that has come on board. One of them already knows quite a bit about the net.
I was on Gmail, tried to read some emails and read to my friend too, and I was on YouTube too. And this was Facebook, but the network is too slow.
This country has huge ambitions. It's already building a fibre optic cable network across the country. And that means that these young people should be able to surf at speed. Driving through Rwanda's gentle landscape, dotted with small farms, it's hard to imagine that just 15 years ago, this country saw a genocidal frenzy which left 1 million dead and a society in ruins. It's still desperately poor, but with the help of donors, Rwanda is investing large sums in building the high-tech infrastructure that could transform its economy. It's at this building in the centre of Kigali that just about all of Rwanda's internet and telephone connections arrive right now. It's very slow and pretty expensive. But 4 years ago, they began building this fibre optic network, and it now reaches right across the country and is ready to be linked up to the outside world. Korean engineers are just completing this network control centre, and soon Rwanda will link up to the fast internet cable on the coast of East Africa. But why is a country which struggles to give its people water or electricity worrying about the web?
As a country, we're in a hurry. We can't wait to fix water and agriculture and roads and then get to ICT. So we've got to do everything in parallel because we've lost so much time in the last decades. And clearly, we can either choose to remain in this cycle of poverty, or we can take the risk and attempt to do this long jump, and we think it's attainable, it's doable.
We are going to have an object, and the object is going to be called Client Q.
Here's part of the drive to build a knowledge economy, a class at Kigali's Institute of Science and Technology on software used in the banking world.
After the crisis in Rwanda, and as you can see, it's been put to very good use.
Unlikely as it may seem, the university's rector believes that this country can soon attract major call centres from the financial services industry.
Everybody has seen how Rwanda has moved from crisis to reconstruction and the rapid growth that the economy is now enjoying. So these are all indicators that successful businesses would want to be linked with. So we have the right mindset, probably better than anybody else at the moment, for outsourcing industries to come here and establish here.
But it's these youngsters who will have to play their part if Rwanda's high-tech dream is to become a reality. The Kigali Primary School is benefiting from the One Laptop Per Child project, which aims to bring cheap computers to children in the developing world. These laptops may be cheap, but they've got all sorts of features: an onboard video camera, wireless networking and software which allows the children to learn simple programming. So Rwanda is hoping that these children may be the software engineers of the future. 100,000 children across the country are now getting access to these laptops and being encouraged to be ambitious about their future. When you grow up, what would you like to do?
To be a doctor.
You'd like to be a doctor? The government here believes it can use technology to treble Rwanda's national income in a decade. It's a bold, perhaps unrealistic plan, but a country still recovering from a terrible past seems determined to show Africa the way to a better future. Rory Kaplan-Jones in Kigali for Africa Business Report.
Welcome back. Now, until this moment, East Africa has been deprived of a high-quality connection to the World Wide Web. It's finally arrived, though, in the form of a fibre optic cable that's been laid under the sea. It goes from India to South Africa, another branch all the way to Kenya. Well, let's go to Mombasa and join our technology correspondent, Rory Kaplan-Jones, who is there for us. Is there great excitement there, Rory?
Well, there's huge excitement. Just to put you in the picture, it's out there that the cable comes from, laid along the bottom of the ocean, right up this coast and landing at various points, including here in Mombasa. We're at the CECOM landing station, CECOM being the consortium that's laid this cable. There are other consortia laying other cables to a region which really has had no connectivity of any quality at all until now. And with me is Mahmoud Noor, who actually runs the landing station here for CECOM. Mahmoud Noor, just explain to us what you've got there and what it means for this region.
Actually, this is the submarine cable, a sample of what we've laid in the sea. And to give the significance, I'll only give an example. People have compared this to the coming of the railway line in the early 20th century. And I know this piece of infrastructure will be a means to unlock a lot of potential that I know Africa has. And we need this to be at par with the whole world, which for a long time we've not been able to have cables in this region. So there's no reasons that now we are able to communicate and we are able to do a lot of things like anybody else in Asia, in London, in the US. Now it's boundless, I will say.
And it's all coming down this little bit of fibre at the end, absolutely tiny. The cable looks quite big, but the fibre's pretty small, right?
Yeah, actually most of this is armored because we need to protect the cable when it is under sea. But all that information is actually amazing. It just goes through this small piece of fibre.
And how does that compare with what you were getting in this country and in most of East Africa before?
I would say we've increased the capacity around 250 times of what we had before. That is huge capacity.
And what does it mean, though, in terms of price? Because people have been paying a fortune for internet access here, haven't they? It's been way beyond most people's means.
If we compare what we've been connecting through satellite, we've reduced the prices by over 90%. And I think this is so important to Kenyans or to East Africans.
Mahmoud Noor, thank you very much. Well, yes, the price to the internet service providers has come down, according to CECOM, by 90%, but ordinary Kenyans aren't seeing those kind of price cuts. And there's quite a lot of grumbling going on here already about when are they actually going to get the promise of faster, cheaper internet delivered.
Rory, thanks for joining us from Mombasa there. And Anna Adams is also watching this story for us, our interactive reporter. What a difference this is going to make for your job, firstly, as well, Anna. But remarkable there to hear Mahmoud saying this is like the rail line. This is how significant they see it being. Is that the feeling you're getting from people who are emailing in?
Absolutely. It seems that most Africans really have been putting up with pretty substandard connection for far too long. So I'll talk you through some of the things we've been hearing. So hundreds of web users in Africa have been emailing us their stories, telling us how connected or in some cases disconnected they feel. So let's have a flavour of some of the emails we've been getting in. This has come from Paul in Nailsbrook, South Africa. He says, we've satellite internet. It goes fast into space and fast back down to Joburg, then slow to the rest of the world. If it was any slower, it'll be going backwards and we'll have to start uploading when we want to be downloading. So Don Dion in Masamuna in the Democratic Republic of Congo says, in my world, www means worldwide wait, not web. He says there's no newspapers in my village and the internet is very important. I'm using a mobile to surf because it's cheaper, but it's still not a full service. So now to Zimbabwe, and this has come from Garakai, who says the need for internet here cannot be overemphasised. We're lagging behind and all our options are prohibitively expensive. It costs around $300 a month, but most people earn less than $100 a month. So that's clearly not an option. So those who haven't been able to get online and email us have called to explain why the World Wide Web really is a lifeline to them. So first let's hear from Madruga Dramane, who's a teacher in Burkina Faso, where the internet is now part of the curriculum there.
We're now available to have access to teaching information and a good number of resources that are very helpful to our people. That has a very positive impact on our people's lives.
I've been working in Africa on and off for the past 13 years, and I remember a time when, being in this part of the world when there was no internet, when I would call my parents once a month from a sketchy landline in the post office. And for us, from a work perspective, the ability to disseminate information, to be able to go and download research and new studies and share those with our colleagues at the Ministry of Health is a terrific opportunity.
Mostly we take images here, and then we do transfer them through the internet to other radiologists, and they are the ones who discuss, and then they provide the opinions to our radiographer, who then conveys the results to the doctors and all that, and to the patient. It has improved our performance a lot.
And that was Masin Khatri telling us how new technology will make a big difference to medics in Tanzania. So you can get on, if you can get online, go to bbc.com/connectedafrica, or you can even follow us on Twitter. And if you've got a good enough connection, then send us your videos.